Oh, there we go. I always make that mistake. It's been a while. All right, my mic's there. You should be able to hear me now. Um, okay. All right. Where was I? So, picking a card for Dark Draft. What I was getting at was the arena's new. It changes every Friday, so it's going to be constructed. I'm going to play this Dark Draft challenge, and then I'm going to go and do some constructed games, unless I get another challenge. How's it going, Gash? Happy Friday. All right, so here it's going to be probably the Rain of Fire is my go-to pick in this scenario. I'm actually not. Let me just move that. I'm not crazy about any of these cards. I think they're all fine. I like Rain of Fire because I like picking up draw twos, and I actually find that the second effect on Rain of Fire is very good in limited formats like this, because you can frequently remove two champions, like a Fire Shaman and a Winter Fairy or something like that, and also hit them. So I find that this card's generally just very good in most decks. It's nice removal. Yep. No problem. No problem. Right. Yeah, it looks like, I think that was just the person that I'm playing against right now. So, one thing that I like to do in Dark Draft is think about what is my opponent going to take? Why didn't they take the cards that they passed to me? So in this scenario, right, let's say that I'm playing as them. I get these four cards. I get Reusable Knowledge, Reaper, Den Mother, and Fire Shaman. Now I'm just going to go off on a limb here and say the most obvious pick would be take the two wild cards. So Fire Shaman, whenever you play a wild card, you deal 3 damage to your target. It's a 0 cost. This card is not very good in a lot of decks, but if you have a lot of wild cards, it's great. In fact, I would say it is probably as good as you can get for a 0 cost champion if you don't have if you have plenty of wild 1 cost cards. And Den Mother is solid. I mean, you play this, you get a threat, 8/8 breakthrough. You can't just ignore that, and you get 3 wolf tokens. So if they remove this, you have stuff left over. This card's also quite good, and it's splashable. So that's probably the most straightforward pick. The safest pick, in my opinion, would be Reusable Knowledge and Den Mother, because Reusable Knowledge is, again, just a safe card in any deck. But most people really are comfortable with Wild, so picking Den Mother plus Fire Shaman is very common, I'd say. That's what I would expect our opponent to take. Alright, so I took a Rain of Fire here. Now, I personally love Steel Golem, but again, I can't really justify that I'm going to get plenty of Sage to activate this card. That being said, I might still go for it anyway, because I just love Steel Golem so much. It's definitely one of my favorites. Rain of Fire, yes. How's it going, Vito? Alright, I'm going to take this Rax's Curse, and I'm going to make the safe pick here and just take Revolt. I mean, I'm not the type of person that usually takes cards that require heavy loyalty early on unless they're truly game-changing. So examples of ones that are truly game-changing are Raging T-Rex, because it draws you 2 cards and it's just so big. Angel of Death, it's a board clear, and then you also get to keep a champion that's a threat. So usually you want board clears in any deck, and that's just better than that. And also Necromancer Lord, I personally really like, because it gives you a threat and it also gets something else. So the theme here is you're getting the 1 cost value of a card, but also you leave something behind that your opponent must deal with, or it will run away with the game. So the Watchful Gargoyle here, definitely the most obvious pick for me. That's mostly because these other cards are not particularly stand out. So when I say that, I mean Dark Leader, probably not going to win you the game. It might help you not lose. Hands from Below, solid, but it's definitely situational. There's situations where you don't even get to play this all game because there's never a good target for it. And then as far as Transform and Resurrection goes, this card is fine, but usually removing a champion and giving them a chump blocker is it's like a little bit below what you want, but it does work on everything. So it's a nice safety net. And Resurrection, again, this is a very situational card for the secondary effect, but the draw 2 is fine. However, I don't have any recycles yet, so I'm definitely going to pick up a recycle there. And again, I'm going to look at my past cards, so I just passed Resurrection in these 3. So the safest pick here is not going to be Dark Leader. It's going to be 2 of these other 3 cards. Now, I personally would probably go for Transform Hands from Below, but it's really personal preference. I could see any combination of those 4 being taken. Alright, so here we are getting past some Sage cards, so I could probably go into that, although this pack in general is just pretty busted. I'm probably going to take Inheritance Divine Judgment, because I personally prefer having the board clears, the banish, synergy, and the draw 2s over Lightning Storm. Some people herald Lightning Storm as one of the best cards, especially in the base set, but I just don't tend to play in a way that makes Lightning Storm amazing, so I'm just going to take these 2. Alright, gotta go. Thanks, Vito. You have a good one. Alright, now this pack's also quite good. Honestly, I'm kind of sad that I'm not seeing this later in this draft, because I really want to play with this card in this deck, but I just don't have the cards to support it yet. I have some, like this Revolt and this Raxus Curse. These are all reasonable, and Inheritance of the Meek, but these other cards are just extremely high quality for any deck, so I have to take one of these just because fellow in here is going to get their choice. So I'm probably going to take Erase, but it really could be any of these 3. I might go heavy good and just take the Palace Guard because I already have a lot of good cards, so that would let me go into good. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Ogre Mercenary, even though Ogre Mercenary is a very high quality card. I want more 1-cost cards to fill out my just my deck a bit. I have a lot of zeros here, so they're both quite solid in pretty much any deck. I'm probably going to take the Erase, just because I don't really have any type of removal that's single target. So it's nice to have something that you can use as an emergency, and it synergizes with Watchful Gargoyle. Alright, this pack. So here, I've talked about Feeding Frenzy before. I think it's really good in a lot of Dark Draft decks, especially right now with Tyrants and Uprising. If you end up with some token cards, you know, your human token that's lying around gets blocked by their Lurking Giant or whatever, and then you can Feeding Frenzy it because it's been damaged. So for that reason, I find Feeding Frenzy to be very good in these limited formats. Now for my other pick, I'm going to take this Necrovirus. I have plenty of draw 2s. This lets me remove a champion off turn, and it basically doesn't have a drawback. This is upside. Each player getting a zombie token I would consider to be a benefit, because if they try to punish me with a Blitz champion, I'll have a blocker. So I usually prefer to have us both get a zombie. Alright, this is interesting. I'm probably going to take the Plague here. White Dragon's also pretty good, but I don't have any good cards that I want to play on my own turn. So I might not be able to hit that recycle consistently. And I'm kind of just making a good stuff deck here. I don't have any strong color alignment, so I'm just going to take the Plague. It's definitely a safe pick. Again, it's another board clear, so I have a lot of them, but sometimes it's not a bad thing because it means that hopefully your opponent is not getting any. And this secondary effect of dealing 1 damage to a player in each of their champions is nice to deal with things like Thought Plucker that people just love to play in Dark Draft. People love to play Thought Plucker, they love to play Force Mage Apprentice, and some people will play High King, Necromancer Lord. Those all have 1 health. You're usually not going to be able to get a crazy human token hit with it, but it happens sometimes. Here I think it's Wolfspite and Vanishing. Thunderous is just probably too out there. I mean, I would honestly consider this card if these 2 weren't so good, but they're very high quality. This is a great recycle card. It just gives you a champion, and it also recycles, and it has another effect on top of that. So when it does all those things, and you can do it on your opponent's turn, this is just going to solve a lot of problems. You can block a big attack, you can remove a troublesome small champion, you can finish off a damaged one, you can deal 4 to an attacker by wolf spiting it and then blocking with the wolf token. So very good. Vanishing, this top effect is extremely good in limited formats where people tend to play things like Thunderous. So Vanishing is a good example of why Thunderous has some problems, because if you play Vanishing on Thunderous, then it's like they spent their gold and then you played your zero cost card to undo their whole gold, right? But you know, they get to keep that card that they just played, so it's like they spent their gold drawing a card, and then you can spend your gold doing whatever you want. Infinite is my real game time. Oh, I mean, oh, I see. Yeah, that sounds good. uh, that's what I assumed. All right, this is a much more interesting pack because here's the thing, right? Most of these cards are playable in my deck. Secret Legion, I'm going to talk about this one first because it's probably the one that looks the least playable. 6 humans into play and the game blitzes turn actually works really well with Revolt because it gives +2 attack to all of your humans. So you can play Secret Legion and this in the same turn and then immediately attack for 21. It also has synergy with Inherence of the Meek because your human tokens don't get banished. And the fact that I have lots of token-esque effects like Necrovirus and Rax's Curse and Wolfspite mean that I can pick up more synergy with it. That being said, I think I'm going to take one of these other ones. Angel of Mercy I'm not going to take because I don't actually have any hits for it right now except for Watchful Gargoyle, and it's likely to not be useful in Valorant's deck. So for me, it's between Smash and Burn and Brand. Priest of Kalinor doesn't do enough for my deck compared to these other two. Brand is a really nice card. It's a 0 cost that gives you probably, it just gives you a lot, right? A lot of benefit. It blocks for what is effectively 5. It's basically 5 offense, 5 defense ambush that also gains you 5 health with a loyalty 2. That being said, I've decided I'm going to take the Smash and Burn, and the reason is I'm pretty sure that Felrin's on Wild. We haven't seen a single Wild loyalty card get past us, right? And also we passed this double. I'm almost positive that that they took the Fire Shaman Demiller here, so I'm just going to take the Smash and Burn, just because I am quite. I feel very confident that Felrin here is in Wild. I mean, yeah, in Wild. And this card is very powerful in Wild. This card is you draw 2 cards, you get to make something bigger, and you also get to remove something later. So here, this pack's actually easy for me. I don't need another board clear, so I can take both of these. This card might also not be good against that deck if there's a lot of big champions in it. Plentiful Dead, I just don't have enough evil 1-cost cards. I have 2. So I'm definitely taking both of these. That's an easy take. JRR tokens. Junior. This might be another one of these jokes that goes over my head. All right, it's definitely going to be Heinous Feast here, and I'll talk a little bit about why. So none of these cards are particularly stand out to me. Cave Troll, not really that scared. If even in a heavy wild deck, Cave Troll is not going to be the end of the world. And what counters Cave Troll is discard pile banishment like Heinous Feast. Peros and Quell are going to be fine to pass. I don't expect them to be very good in Felrin's deck. And Helion is a great card if you have a lot of Sage, because you need to hit that loyalty 2 for it to be worth it. And I don't. So I'm definitely just going to take this Heinous Feast and pick up that first discard pile banishment card. I think it's very important to have one card that interacts with the discard pile in your deck, in your limited deck. It doesn't need to banish the whole thing. It can just be a Guilt Demon, or, I mean, Corpse Taker doesn't really count in my opinion, because a lot of the time with Corpse Taker you can't guarantee you'll banish a card, but everything else works. Anything that banishes cards in the discard pile. Oh, I see. JR token. Yeah, exactly. See? It's what I tell you. Alright, Wither is an easy pick for me here. I could actually take Drinker of Blood in this deck. I have a lot of tokens, and I can pick up the Wither and try and get the Flash Fire. And I think I am going to take it. I don't have very many threats here, and I can play it on turn. It's a bit weak, but it's reasonable. So I'm going to take the Drinker of Blood. And then I'm going to try and pick up a Flashfire here. Maybe a Zombie Apocalypse or a Martial Law. Those would be the ideal combos for it. But the, alright. Ooh, this one's spicier. So here, how many evil cards do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 18, so that's 1/3, so that's like 10 out of 30. I might be able to swing Angel of Death. It's a little tricky. Bodyguard's a safe pick in my deck because I have enough ways to recur it, right? I have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess that's not that many. Silver Dragon's just reasonable in every deck. I'm going to take this Angel of Death. I'm going to try playing it. I think I can pull it off. The T-Rex, while it is a card that I would consider to be amazing in most decks, it'll be so useless to me. I won't be able to do anything with it. So I take, when I hate pick, or hate draft as it's called, I do that when the card is playable for me. So when it's a card that I can take and it'll be fine, it won't hit that ceiling, but at least the floor will be higher, so I'll always get some value out of it. So here, if we're going to be going evil good, that means I definitely want both of these loyalty 2s and neither of these loyalty 2s. Now, the one thing that's a little weird about this is I would actually think that Felron would really want Draka if Heavy Wild, but you know, maybe this is a Flame Strike or something next to it. However, this is telling me, in my opinion, that I was wrong about Heavy Wilds. Or at least, I don't know, maybe not. It's definitely suspicious. That's the kind of thing that maybe, I mean, I don't know, I probably would take an Amnesia there if there was Amnesia and I didn't have any discard pile banishment. You can only take one. So if your opponent passes you multiple loyalty 2 cards, it doesn't actually mean anything. However, it's totally possible that Felron here is heavy into a different color than I expected. Like if I go ahead and I look at my burned cards, so these were cards that I didn't take, then the only loyalty 2s I've seen 2 Sage loyalty 2s and 2 Wild loyalty 2s in that pack. So that means, and I saw some evil ones as well that I took. Could be Sage or evil heavy. Probably not good. So here I think it's probably going to be the Gudgeon. It's just a nice solid card. Don't really need Fire Spirit. I like having draw 2 champions available, so. And it helps me get that loyalty. Now I need loyalty for Angel of Death. Zealous Necromancer might actually be the play. I have lots of small ways to interact with champions, and having lots of zombies could work really well at Drinker of Blood. So I'm going to take the Zealous Necromancer, actually. It also gives me an ambush champion, which I've talked about before. I think it's important to have ambush champions in your deck, or at least ways that you can get champions out on your opponent's turn. So I have 2 right now with Noble Unicorn and now Zealous Necromancer. This pack is interesting. These are all reasonable cards in my deck. I have a lot of 0-cost champions. Savage Uprising, that second mode, could be completely legitimate for me. In fact, I'm going to be having a lot of tokens a lot at the time. Grave Demon and Erratic Research, both solid cards. And Hunting Pack, they kind of do the same thing. It's just whether you want to draw 2 or have an 8/8. And Hunting Pack, I personally think Hunting Pack's great. It's removal plus you get some kind of advantage. And it gives you some bodies. So it's another ambush champion effectively. I'm probably going to take the Hunting Pack. And let's see how many draw 2s I have. So I have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This blade counts, so that's 8. 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 draw 2s is a pretty good amount. Savage Uprising has other modes, so I'm just going to take the Savage Uprising, leave the Erratic Research off the table. I have Heinous Feast. It means I'll probably be forced to Heinous Feast to banish, but I think the Savage Uprising might actually do quite a lot in this deck, so I'm going to take that. I think it's quite likely that Savage Uprising will usually not hit my champions, which is what makes me want to take it. Also, it's nice to have a little bit of burn I have Savage Uprising, and my first pick was Rain of Fire. So that gives me a total of 10 damage across 2 cards in my deck that are burned. This is an interesting choice. For me, it's definitely between Fumble and Rage. These cards are both deck defining. I mean, not deck defining. Having Rage in your deck makes you play differently because you can Rage something after blocks to do a lot of damage, so it really helps you if you have big champions. Now, I don't have good targets in my deck for Rage at all. Fumble is definitely more my speed for this deck. So I'm going to take the Fumble here. Now, the only reason that I would consider taking Rage is because it kind of prevents Felron from using it, but if I have Fumble on hand and Felron plays Rage, I'll probably be happy, actually. So here I'm going to take just these 2 cards. This will be some burn, this will be a draw 2 and potentially a board clear. Don't really want to take these other ones very strongly. I mean, Soul Hunter's fine. It's not crazy or anything. We did not see Amnesia or any single target banish. So, and passing both of those 2 banish alls makes me think that Felron has a banish all in deck already. So I'm not gonna play Soul Hunter here. Sometimes I'll take Soul Hunter if I really have a lot of card draw. But a lot of my cards have draw 2 as an option, but I'll usually want to use them for the other mode. So here, it's definitely an interesting choice. I'm actually going to take the Drain Essence, even though Succubus is also extremely good, because I expect Succubus to be a worse card for Felron, and I think I want the healing as well as the removal. I don't have very much removal in my deck. I have Necrovirus. I'm talking about single target removal. Erase sort of counts. It's soft because it bounces. And let's see, and Dark Assassin, a Hunting Pack. Don't really count Flame Strike because you want to Flame Strike their face. And I don't count cards like Wither or Wolfspite because those are for small champions. So for big champions, I guess I can count Feeding Frenzy. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4 if you count Erase. Or I guess 5 as well because we have Hunting Pack. I could definitely use more. I would probably say something like in a 6 out of 30, that's 1 out of 5, right? So that's usually a good amount. Sometimes even having a little bit more is fine if they have draw 2 as a mode. Alright, what am I taking on this pack? This is the last pick here. How many wild cards do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I take Drakus Enforcer or something else, that's 9. And do I have anything good for reset? The only thing is I actually have a lot of ways to draw 2 cards, so I don't need more card draw very much. So I'm actually probably going to take this Drakus Enforcer and Fork Lightning here. I mean, I could take Chomp. I'm not really the biggest fan of Chomp. I think I can get Drakus Enforcer to work if I play towards it. So we'll take these. And that's our deck. So honestly, I would say this is a pretty nice deck. It is much less color heavy than I usually build. I mean, I do have some loyalties in here, but it's soft. I keep saying soft. It's just light on the evil and the good. It's not super heavily into that color. Well, I guess we'll see. Maybe you'll slaughter me. Alright, we're going first. Now, just looking at our hand here, right? This is not super ideal. We have just all off-turn cards. I'm probably going to keep Drain Essence, toss Savage Uprising, because this isn't a card I usually want early. Keep the Necrovirus. I suppose I only need 1 of Necrovirus or Drain Essence, so I'll probably keep the Drain Essence and toss the Necrovirus. And I'll keep Zealous Necromancer, so that means I'll do something like this. And the reason is I want to have a draw 2, off-turn removal, and a play. So here, it's actually an interesting question on whether or not I should play Urgent Messengers. I'm of the opinion that playing Urgent Messengers here is correct, and I usually do play Urgent Messengers on my turn if I have my gold up, and that's my best play. I'm talking about on an empty board. Laughter. Yeah, you can't spell slaughter without laughter. Gonna draw 2 with that. So this is actually nice, right? We both drew 2 cards, but we got ahead on board. And that's because, you're already getting the 2 humans out, and off-turn gold's going to be weaker than on-turn gold. I have removal in the event that something crazy happens, but this is also a very nice setup for Zealous Necromancer, since Zealous Necromancer will do something whenever a non-zombie token is broken, so these humans will turn to zombies with the Zealous Necromancer out. Now, Shadow Imp implies that this deck we're playing against is Heavy Sage, so we should expect to be up against a Heavy Sage deck. I believe I passed Steel Golem, so we should expect a Steel Golem, but I was past Time Master, and maybe I was past a Steel Golem, I'm not sure. Anyway, this is unblockable, so I have to take it. I don't have any good ants. I'm not going to Drain Essence it. Now, whenever your opponent Shadow Imps attacks, it usually means they're going to spend their gold on something. So, it's actually not the craziest thing in the world for me to Drain Essence here, but I think that the Zealous Necromancer follow-up is better. Like, here it would make sense to play War Machine or Juggernaut. Those are the 2 cards that I can envision very clearly being played in this situation. Maybe Veldin, or those are cards that I didn't see. Alright, the Gudgeon, that's fine. This is actually, so in my opinion, I think playing Shadow Imp and attacking here is a mistake. Usually you don't want to attack with your Shadow Imp unless you're not going to spend your gold afterwards, or you're going to play something else to return to your hand. And that's because you don't want to set yourself up to get blown out. Yeah, that's it really. I mean, this isn't really, I'm not going to blow Felrin out, but what if I started my turn and played Draka and dealt 3 damage to all of Felrin's cards? Shadow Imp can be in your hand most of the time, so you might as well just save it, right? The 2 damage here isn't worth it. Now, because we're up against Sage, Drinker of Blood's going to be a little bit worse because it can get returned to hand. We have Vanishing in our deck and Erase, so it's just Temporal Enforcer and Force Mage Apprentice. It's interesting, but not going to activate it. Just playing it to activate. So this Force Mage Apprentice is being played so that it can be activated to deal 2 damage to my Zealous Necromancer, then play a Sage card, then activate it a second time to kill my Zealous Necromancer. Now this is a risky play for sure, because if I remove this now, then your Force Mage Apprentice got no value. Usually you can wait until, like Felrin probably could have just not played this and then on Felrin's next turn play the Force Mage and a Sage card to take out my Zealous Necromancer. Me having this Necromancer out for a turn probably isn't going to make that big of a difference, but I can see where they're coming from. So I'm going to go ahead and Drinker of Blood and just Wolfspite that right away. So I'm just going to play the Drinker of Blood because I can get value out of it. It's not like one of us is super ahead here. I am going to be after this trade, but and then I'll pass here. There's no reason to attack because my opponent's gold is up and I have a potential damage of 5 if all of my attacks are unblocked. So if I give up 5 damage for Felrin to not spend their gold and just start their turn, then I'll be very happy. That's a good trade for me. If Felrin does spend his gold, right, then I can attack after that if it doesn't affect my attacks at all, or I can decide not to attack if it does. And this Feeding Frenzy here is actually very nice because this human token being blocked by anything will activate it. Alright, we've been a Psionic Assaulted, and that returns the Shadow Imp to hand, so that means that we could be blocked by a 2-3 at any time. So I'll go ahead and attack, probably just trade in my Feeding Frenzy if it gets blocked by that Shadow Imp. I want to get rid of the Shadow Imp forever, so I'd be happy to do that. But we are going to make all of these 3 attacks. Now, the really clever play would probably be Shadow Imp to block. Shadow Imp, Gudgeon double block the Zealous Necromancer because I am going to attack with it. And the reason I'm going to attack with it is it's not that valuable. I'd rather take down the Shadow Imp than I would prefer to trade in my Zealous Necromancer for the Shadow Imp. But but it probably makes sense from Valorant's perspective to remove my Zealous Necromancer now. Oh right, Hands from Below. And that's actually going to gain me 2 health because of the Drinker of Blood. So Drinker of Blood's a great card to play before attacks. So now I'm going to have to discard 2. So I'm going to play this Watchful Gargoyle first and go ahead and leave my champion. And then I'm going to be... Ooh. If I withered these zombies right now, that'd be 6. It's not worth it. Alright. I'm going to discard 2. I'm going to discard the High King because it's not very useful in this hand. And I'll probably discard Drain Essence because I might not get a good chance to use it. A lot of the time I discard my 0-cost cards, but I think Wither is just so good with Drinker of Blood in play that I'm going to keep it. And it also combos with Plague to remove demon tokens. This is where we want the Heinous Feast. I'm actually gonna have to plague myself here because I can't plague Felrin when Felrin's untargetable from the Gudgeon. Plague says deal 1 damage to target player and each champion they control. So I will probably have to plague myself, but losing 2 humans and dealing 4 damage to Felrin, I'm fine with that. That actually sounds fantastic. Sounds great. Felrin can't really attack here. I mean, attacking with a human would mean a zombie would mean I block with Watchful Gargoyle or even another zombie of my own. Attacking with Gudgeon here, I would take 2, so it's unblockable. Doesn't mean I would get priority if I wanted to do something. But if I was wrong, probably what I would do is attack with the Gudgeon and then make my whatever my best play in hand is. Now, one nice thing on keeping Plague is, let's say I play it with Drinker of Blood out, right? I deal 2 damage for every champion in play. So right now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 2 is going to be 16. So right now, Plague represents 16 damage to Felrin and I gain 16 if I play it on my turn when Drinker of Blood is unbreakable. So everything else dies except for this. If another... How many champions? Interesting attack here. I mean, that tells me I'm just gonna block with Watchful Gargoyle anyway. I don't know what the trick is, but I don't mind losing this. Not like there's a crazy Airborne Blitz champion. Maybe now I'm gonna get attacked with Avenging Angel. That'd be pretty funny. Just removing my Airborne blocker here for Avenging Angel. That'd be kind of a good joke because I actually play Avenging Angel a lot. I mean, I should be playing Avenging Angel a lot, right? I like to put it in my constructed decks. Interesting. Gonna take Drinker of Blood probably for the turn. Alright, I like this play. This is a good play. It actually makes it difficult for me to plague here because I'll be plaguing myself. And I lose 2 health from that, and then this will attack for 5. This is a great play. Yeah, that's all there is to it, really. But I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to take these I'm going to take all of this damage. That's going to be 7, 8, 9. That'll bring me down to 19, and I'll use Feeding Frenzy to draw 2. Just so I don't dome myself for 5. I could draw 2 with this Feeding Frenzy, but I don't think there's even a 0-cost card that I would draw that I'd want to play right away. Let me see if there is. Yeah, no, there's not. So I'm just going to take my beats. take every single attack here. This should definitely attack because it's going to go back to me at the end of the turn anyway, so might as well get in for 5. It's a good thing I didn't block with that zombie there. What was the other card that got revealed? So, Sonic Assault, probably Shadow Imp. I probably would have done Shadow Imp attack, then play this. That would put the Shadow Imp back in hand and the Sonic Assault back in hand. But maybe Felrain doesn't have any other stage cards in hand besides those two. Didn't want to risk. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I probably would have done Shadow Imp attack, then play Keeper of Secrets, then play Helion. So that way you can recycle and return the Shadow Imp to hand and return the Sonic Assault to hand, and then you can decide what to banish with this or whatever. To be like, play Shadow Imp attack, then attack with the zombie token, then when I blocked, then play, or I guess you would have to not, you'd have to do it before blocks, but I think that's still worth it. This is a weird attack to me. I'm going to double block it. I mean, I'll lose 2 health, but I lose 2 health. I mean, I lose 4 health, but getting this off the board for a token is definitely worth it. Every time you play a stage card that costs a gold to recycle, it's just insane value. That's like a Muse right there. Especially because the Sonic Assault's in hand, so every time the Sonic Assault is played, it'll recycle. Definitely correct for me to double block here. Yeah, and I would probably, I mean, this, yeah, it doesn't really matter which one you get rid of. Technically, now I can wither the zombie token, and it won't kill my own minion. So removing the zombie token's probably best, in case I have some kind of trick I'm going to pull with withering all of the zombie tokens or something. Alright, I'm going to draw 2 with this Feeding Frenzy. And this zombie token's probably going to attack me for 2. It definitely should attack me for 2. I'm going to get that Drinker of Blood back in a second. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16. I'll probably still do the Plague. Just murder everything. Might even Vanishing on this Watchful Gargoyle. Yeah, see, I don't like this attack. I think that's a weak attack. Because now you're just overextending. But I am going to attack first, so it might not be punished. I might attack and then Sonic Assault just gets played immediately to save the Shadow Imp. Right now I'm dealing 20. So if I could get 4 more champions into play somehow, I would just win on my turn. Or if I can deal 8 somehow. Alright, I'm going to attack with both of these champions as a group, in case Lying in Wait is going to remove my Drinker of Blood. So I'm just playing around Lying in Wait here. And I guess Ceasefire. But Lying in Wait would really destroy my plans, so I definitely want to attack as a group here. If an Airborne champion gets played, then I can actually play Plague before blockers are declared to remove the Airborne blocker and gain a bunch of health, and then my 5 attack is still coming through. Alright, here's Quell to banish all zeros. Interesting. I'm going to get her for 5. I mean, now I just want to play Rax's Displeasure, remove both of those. Keep the Plague. The Plague's value is pretty high. As opposed to the non-demon clause here, which is actually a downside. This breaks all non-demon champions, so I don't think I actually have any demons on my deck. Which means that it could only hurt me. I have this card which makes a demon token. So everything else in my deck, every champion gets broken by that card. And Felrain might have some demons in his deck, so I might as well just not. Alright, that's gonna get banished. Probably just play this Noble Unicorn here. Maybe I'll draw another good card in the next 2 draws and I can refill my hand. I just did? Great. So I'm probably just gonna play that Inheritance Meek to draw 2, which will draw 3. because Noble Unicorn has this tribute draw card and ally ability draw card. Now, I would say Noble Unicorn is a card that would pull me into good. So if I saw this early, I would probably pick it up. But it's a soft pick, or whatever you want to call it. You don't actually need a lot of good cards for Noble Unicorn to be a reasonable play. I mean, 6/6 ambush draw card, it's fine. You know, it's gonna put a little bit of pressure on your opponent. It's a nice play if the board's clear. I'm just gonna go ahead and draw 3 here, so that'll put me up to 7, which is always a nice place to be. And I'll pass. And then, assuming that there's a non-play here, I can attack in and then wither the blocker before damage to finish off. That's Sonic Assault to make me discard 2. So we'll go ahead and get in with this and see if I can at least take down that champion for 0. And if this doesn't get blocked and I just get to deal 6 damage for free, then that's also nice. Bodyguard, alright. I mean, I don't really need to spend a card so I'm just going to let the block happen. I'm assuming this bodyguard is just going to block it by itself. I still have Heinous Feast in my deck, so I might get a lot of value out of it. It's in the next 12. So it's pretty close. Right now, Heinous Feast would be very, very nice. Alright. I discard 2, so I'm going to go ahead and discard the Smash and Burn because it does something from my discard pile. And I'll probably also discard Revolt, just because your cost cards are a little harder to use when you are making your hand get discarded from. I guess I could keep the Revolt and discard a different draw too, but I really like having Erase. Maybe I'll discard the Vanishing instead. It's a lot of tempo to be gained. I do like having random ambush blockers, but Erase should be able to prevent anything from killing me, so I'm just going to discard those 2. I want to have Raxus Curse because if I draw the Heinous Feast and I want to play it, I want to be able to Raxus Curse away the bodyguard. And this is effectively an ambush champion, that blocker. It gives you a demon token that you can block with, but you have to have a different 0-cost champion to break. So it gives you a demon token, then it breaks a 0-cost champion, so if you don't have one in play, you have to get rid of the demon. So I'm going to go ahead and take 6 here, which will bring me down to 13. But Flame Strike did get passed to me, so I don't expect Felrin to have any real burn. I don't think we know about any other cards in hand. There's Avenging Angel. This is why we kept Erase, which is a perfect Erase target. Erase is going to return that to hand and I draw 2, which is nice because it basically nullifies that whole play, right? Avenging Angel attacks and then I remove it. That's why Blitz Champions are intended to be punishers. You really want to force your opponent's hand to get them to spend their gold first, if possible. And I assume this bodyguard's going to come down and attack. But I think it's totally reasonable. I would personally keep the bodyguard in hand. But at this point in the game, I have a bigger hand, and our health totals are looking pretty similar, so you might have to be forced to play aggressively here, even if it feels worse. But I guess this bodyguard's going to block here. So after this bodyguard block happens, I'm just going to play Heinous Feast and pass. Yeah. I might even Raxus Curse, Heinous Feast. Yeah, that way I have a blocker for Palace Guard. Yep, I'm going to do that. I'll get rid of these Sonic Assaults. That'll gain me some health, so I'll go up to 18 because I get 1 for each champion banished. Yeah, maybe. Maybe for the memes. I mean, it's actually not a bad play. Like, you can think of Avenging Angel. I tend to use it as more of a soft lock piece. So when I play Avenging Angel in my decks, it's intended to be a card that locks down a game that you don't even need to be ahead on board. But what you're trying to do is make something that your opponent either has to answer or they're going to be punished. That's what Avenging Angel does. Alright, we're just going to go ahead and draw 2 as well. I'm just going to draw 2 with the Plague, I think. just in case my discard pile gets banished. Well, it's nice to have a board clear, I suppose. But these other options are a lot better, so I'm just going to play here. Deal 1 damage, and then we're going to go ahead and recycle away. Doesn't really matter, but I'll do the Heinous Feast and the Rax's Curse, I guess. In general, I always keep champions in my discard pile and remove them from my opponents in case they have something that reanimates champions, or like Army of the Apocalypse or Zombie Apocalypse, which both give you more benefit if you have more in your discard pile. And I know that Felrin doesn't have Heinous Feast because I just played it, so I don't have to worry about that. So here, when this attack happens, right, I'll probably just fumble it. Yeah, just fumble it. That'll basically give me a demon token. Avenging Angel, that's interesting. Alright, going forward again. Just gonna go ahead and hunting back this. Ooh, Rage. It's not good. Well, I could Flame Strike Wither it, but I actually would prefer to save the Flame Strike for Felrin, so I'm just gonna fumble here. See if I just randomly get like a different value card off the top. Nope. So I'm just gonna take the damage. Should be 0. The fact that it's not gaining any health is really relevant here, or dealing any damage. I mean, that's a 20-point swing. It would be I lose 10, Felrin gains 10. But I mean, this really showcases the power of fumble. And I think I was just comparing these two exact cards in my pack. I was comparing Rage and Fumble, and I said, if my opponent has Rage and I have Fumble, then I'll come out ahead. Especially in this deck. I mean, if I had Rage in hand, it wouldn't really do anything for me. I did this before blocks just in case I somehow drew a combination of 0-cost cards that could block this efficiently. Like if I drew, like I don't know exactly what I would have to have drawn, but I just made that play in case I could somehow play an ambush champion that could block it and remove it. Anyway, so I haven't spent my gold yet. I could just Flame Strike face. That would give me a couple of wins here. I have 3 ways to win if I do that, so I am just going to do that. Oh, I get to do that for free too? Oops. Whatever. I actually think the right play was Hunting Pack, use Smash and Burn. I forgot about Smash and Burn. I could have Hunting Pack, Smash and Burn the Avenging Angel. Yeah, no, it is. People really underestimate life gain and subtracting attack, and that's lethal, which is why I made that play. We have 3 cards in the next 10 that gave lethal, so I figure 30% chance to win, 70% chance for the game to basically continue. You want to take those odds. Anyway, good game. What time is it? Alright. I'll try and play a game of Constructed here. I'm just going to talk about this deck that I made that did end up going pretty long. Yeah. Fumble is very good. Good game, though. How did it go? How did what go? Oh, the game? I mean, the game went good. I think our deck came out really, really, really good. It didn't have a really strong color base. It just was filled with. It just had all of the checkboxes checked. It wasn't so much that it had super high quality cards. There wasn't any part of the deck that I was missing. I had discard pile banishment, and I had plenty of draw twos. Had some ambush champions and a couple of ways to clear the board. So anyway, so I think someone was just talking about Avenging Angel in that Army of the Apocalypse deck. So I'm on an Army of the Apocalypse binge here. Figure I might as well go ahead and make this deck. So I did in between now and the last stream, and basically it's kind of a twist on the previous deck, as well as there's another deck that used Avenging Angel. It used maybe it was Necromancer Lord. I'm not sure, but anyway. So the trick here is doing a couple of things which are really interesting. All right. So this is a yeah, no, the Drinker and Zealous. I ended up picking up a Drinker Wither because I figured maybe I'll get value, and I just ended up having so many token cards that those cards both just seemed incredibly good in my deck. So here's what we're doing in this deck. That's crazy. All right, so we have, we're going to establish an engine. It's going to be just like that other deck that snowballs, right? But we're doing a good style. Now we're going to snowball. We're also going to have some evil cards. So if you look at the split here, it's pretty greedy. I have 27 evil cards and 24 good cards, and I'm running loyalties in evil, but no loyalties in good. All right, I have Royal Escort and Noble Unicorn are both ally abilities, so you only need really one card in hand of the same alignment, and you don't need that card. You can still use them without. In Angel of Mercy, you just need one in your discard pile. So even though I have a lot of good cards, I don't really have good loyalties. And what this deck is trying to do is you play it mostly like a control deck where you are establishing cards like Crystal Golem and Misguided Herald and Gudgeon, and just drawing some cards and moving their threats with things like Drain Essence, clearing the board with Angel of Death and Martial Law. You're just punishing them for overextending. And then you do a big Army of the Apocalypse here. So we've got a couple of things going on with this Army of the Apocalypse. We've got Crystal Golem, of course, and some zero-cost champions that are going to give us value. Mostly Guild Demon here. It'll banish your opponent's champions, and it has Blitz. You can use it right away. Priestess of Angeline's also nice here in this deck because it's going to give us Sustain. So this is more of a slower version of the army decks that I've been playing on the stream. But what's really special about this deck is, yeah, there's no demons, but there's actually an evil angel as well. So we can just call this one like Death Metal or something. Anyway, yeah, we can just do that. All right. What we are doing, I'm going to call this the combo, even though it's not really a combo, but we are going to have layers of defenses. All right. We have this Gudgeon here, which makes us untargetable. So our discard pile can't be banished anymore. We can't be hit with burn spells. But they might get rid of our Gudgeon, right? Not if our Gudgeon is untargetable because of Royal Escort. But they might get rid of our Royal Escort, which is why we can get our Royal Escort back with Necromancer Lord or Angel of Mercy. And Royal Escort's going to protect both of those. So we're just going to set up like a little mini engine with these cards. And Avenging Angel will help us lock down our opponent, so even if they have lots of ground champions against those wild decks, if we just attack with this a couple of times, then we should just win from there. We also have just some cards that will help us regain control, or cards that are a lot of value. So Final Task is a lot of value because it lets us play champions on their turn, or champions on our turn with Blitz. We can Final Task our Crystal Golem, hit for 7, break to draw 2. Crystal Golem or Misguided Heralds on their turn to get another champion into play. So we're going to go ahead and play some Death Metal. We're going to try one game in the arena, and then that'll be it for the stream today. Let's join the queue. Nice. Perfect. That's perfect. Well, I mean, this deck probably does need some tuning. I think if you're going to make a deck like this, I mean, if you're going to play Angel of Mercy, then you definitely want the Gudgeon because you need to protect your discard pile. Angel of Mercy is inherently a risky card. So that's the main weakness behind it. This hand actually looks fantastic. I don't have any off-turn removal, which is the main weakness. Probably going to toss in Urgent Messengers and a Heinous Feast. And probably a Necromancer Lord. I mean, I want to keep this Angel of Death and this Urgent Messengers. I actually was considering holding the entire thing, but I think it's just better to really sculpt a good hand. So we'll keep the board clear, and we'll keep... This will almost definitely be our off-turn play. We'll get 2 humans and draw 2 cards. Yeah. Just think of this as a good idea. All right, you're just getting some good ideas here. All right, Misguided Herald's going to come down. Looks like we're up against some kind of rainbow good stuff deck. I mean, at the very least, it is heavy on Sage because it has loyalty 2 right here with Ice Drake. Kong is a common splash, so I'm expecting to see 3 surprise attacks and then either 2 Rages and 1 Kong or 3 Rages and 3 Kongs, but they might also be playing some Burn, or it might be like a split that just splashes Evil for Drain Essence. Not super crazy. Alright, so this isn't really a threat. I'll probably just Misguide Herald and let the Misguide block something. Try and see if we can get some value out of our Misguide here. The only thing is, the only weak hit for Misguide is going to be Necromancer Lord, and we just tossed one away, so it's unlikely that we'll hit Necromancer Lord. Alright, so I am probably just going to get the Angel of Death here and clear the board. I could Crystal Golem. It's not that crazy. I'll just, yeah, actually, I like this play. I'll just draw 2, and then I can clear the board. Problem is, like, I do need to clear the board. Like it's a good time because off turn I'm gonna have to play Urgent Messengers or Final Task, so I want that Misguided Herald in the discard pile. I'll just go with the Angel of Death here. They're both good options. I'm not gonna reveal the Final Task. It's the card that I want to hide. This is gonna bring back my Misguided Heralds probably. Same off turn one play you do with me. I mean, as far as off-turn Final Task goes, probably the best off-turn Final Task target is Misguided Herald. I mean, Necromancer Lord is the other one, right? Interesting. Definitely going to be the Ancient Chant if our Epic Agenda is digging for an answer here, for our card to play. And definitely a Sage-heavy deck, at least from what we've seen. Go ahead and pass the turn. Now, my discard pile might get banished, but if it doesn't, I can Final Task that Misguide. If it does, I can Urgent Messengers. Gonna have to make a play, though, because you can't keep taking 6 from Angel of Death. It's really what makes it so convenient is it's reusable. Alright, Steel Golem's gonna come down. That makes me really want to Final Task because my Misguide Heralds can block that attack. So we'll go ahead and do that. I really want to find like a Necromancer Lord here. But Noble Unicorn is also quite good, so I'll grab that, and that'll draw me a card. So you still get the Tribute, even if you didn't play it. Tribute is whenever the champion comes into play, you get the effect. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and block this with the Misguide Herald. Oh yeah. I mean, I just really like Urgent Messengers. But Urgent Messengers is really powerful off turn. But I personally think that it's a fine play on turn. So one of this deck's main weaknesses is that it doesn't really have establishing plays. Like you're gonna play things like the Gudgeon or Urgent Messengers on turn, or Misguide Heralds. You're just gonna make what off turn plays you have in hand work for the situation. So you'll notice that while Epic Agenda almost definitely has loyalty 2 for this Warrior Golem, there's no reason to reveal 2 cards from hand if you're going to block with it, which is likely given the situation. So I'm going to go ahead and attack with my Airborne Champion. This way a recycle doesn't happen and I can make it look like I'm going to maybe banish the discard pile. Alright, Fires Rebellion is going to come down and probably take down that Noble Unicorn. It's definitely the bigger threat. Alright. I mean, that's fine with me. Well, we're going to go ahead and attack with this Noble Unicorn. Even if Epic Agenda has a deal 2 in hand, what's really good about this situation for me is that if Epic Agenda blocks with that, after damage is assigned, then I can make my play, my real play. So go ahead and let that recycle happen. I did consider just going ahead and Martial Lawing here. Unicorn's a bigger threat because every turn it's going to draw me a card. I'm going to activate that ally ability to draw a card. Cards are a big deal every time you draw a card off of that Noble Unicorn, it's like playing a draw 2 from your hand for free. And I'll explain why. If I play this draw 2, right, and I didn't have his unicorn out, I go from 7 to 8 cards in hand. But if I just, so whenever you draw a card and it's not, you don't have to spend a card from your hand, you get the same card hand size increase as playing a draw 2. So I'm going to go ahead and play that, and then I'm going to end the turn. So I'm going to have to discard the maximum hand size. We're going to discard this Avenging Angel so I can actually drop an Angel of Mercy and get it back if I want. I'm going to go ahead and also discard this other Angel of Mercy because I don't need 2 in hand. So, I mean, on Epic Agenda's turn, I can play another good 1-cost card, and I'll get to draw another card with Noble Unicorn. It's just, you just keep getting value out of it. It's going to draw so many cards. This is like a Super Muse. Alright, gonna just remove both of these and then attack me for 13, I guess. Ooh, gonna threaten to attack me for a lot. Good final task out. Misguide Herald. I think I like that play. Like, I have a couple of options here. I could also, like, Angel of Mercy, Brave Scar, the Angel of Mercy, and then that blocks, and then the human token blocks here. I could Martial Law to banish everything, and then give my opponent some humans, and then I draw a card from the Noble Unicorn, but I would prefer to keep establishing threats. That's kind of like what this deck does. It's just going to keep establishing threats forever. So we're just going to go ahead and probably do one of these 2 plays. Kind of like Brave Squiring the Angel of Mercy because it draws me a card from the Noble Unicorn, and, well, the human token could get stopped. We'll go for the Misguide Heralds. We'll go for the Misguide Heralds. Alright, we're just going to go ahead and grab this Angel of Mercy. I mean, I might just get Necromancer Lord here. We'll keep digging. There we go. There's like a million champions in this deck, so I'm pretty much guaranteed to hit something that's valuable. Sweet. Alright, that was a pretty insane use of my gold. So we're just going to go ahead and block this here. Targetable champions can't be raged, but we do know rage is in this deck, so this card could be raged and we'll take some damage. Not going to be a big deal though. And what's nice is even though I only have 2 cards in hand that are evil, I can still hit my loyalty 2 because I just revealed those 2. So that'll get transformed into a wolf token. So whenever a non-wolf blocks this, it gets transformed into a wolf token. So we are a little susceptible to rage here. If I got raged, I'd take 12. But it's not the end of the world. Our Wolf Spite's going to come down and take that out. Can't recycle, because Agenda has been eating through cards in the discard pile pretty rapidly. Can manage my discard pile. Now that's a good play. That way I don't get the Angel of Mercy value. You'll notice that I spend my gold basically blocking both of those attacks and putting a Necromancer Lord into play and bringing this back from my discard pile. So Epic Agenda had to spend 2.5 cards to get rid of everything that I just did. And I still chumped both of these attacks. So that's what we're going to keep doing with this deck. We're just going to keep reusing. We're going to outvalue our opponent via that method. So that Force Mage Apprentice is going to be a problem, so it needs to be removed. Probably just going to wither it, and then probably just play the Gudgeon. So I might as well just play the Gudgeon first. Yeah, might as well just play the Gudgeon first. And then I can, I guess we don't need to get rid of this right away. Let's attack with Angel of Mercy. Exactly. So much value. It's like Value Town. I can't really attack with that. It'd be a bad play. just going to play the Gudgeon and probably Wither that, and then pass. Can't be Amnesia now, but it's a bit late, unfortunately. So these two cards kind of protect each other because Angel of Mercy means that if Noble Unicorn gets removed, the Angel of Mercy is going to bring it back. So, all right, that's gonna go ahead and give it Self Blitz to remove my Gudgeon. Consume's going to finish that off. That is totally fine. We are going to go ahead and attack with this, just to, it's mostly just to test our opponent. I'm just going to be playing Martial Law off turn to get rid of everything. So we're basically saying, oh yeah, we have this one or two champions out that are so threatening that you just have to keep putting things on the board, right? Epic Gen has just been playing a card from hand every turn, just to deal with what I've been playing, just kind of like haphazardly. Like this Noble Unicorn is what, draw me 3 or 4 cards. It's about to draw me another here because I'm going to play this Martial Law, and that's going to banish all of these champions and mine. But I still draw a card off of it. The ally ability still triggers. It's actually, well, yeah, no, that was definitely correct. I thought about maybe I should have blocked with it. I should have not attacked, blocked with it, and then it would go to the discard pile, but drawing the card is way better than having it in the discard pile. So draw 2 with Lessons Learned. Sounds good to me. I'll go ahead and start my turn here. I'm probably just going to get in with one of these Guilt Demons. So we'll just start banishing cards out of the discard pile here. Probably that and Consume. I mean, Amnesia is also annoying against my deck, so I'll have to get rid of the Amnesia. And then I'm going to play the Crystal Golem on my turn and pass, I think. Interesting. That'll bring no more cards in the discard pile at this point. I mean, I could just Angel of Death to this. It's not crazy value, but it does use the Angel of Death pretty effectively. Sure. Not really expecting an ambush champion play here, that is. Like, I'm expecting like a Helion or something that isn't really going to get very much value. Maybe an Ice Drake. Just a play that, I mean, I have to still have to deal with it, but it's not going to threaten my health total. Like a Lurking Giant might be a problem, but, and knowing that I have that Drain Essence, I'm not going to want to do anything there. Now I can go ahead and play my other Guild Demon and banish both. Try and get for 3 again. It's always nice to have your opponent's discard pile be empty. Then random things like just recycle cards. If Epic Agenda had a Wolfspite here, they'd want to play it, right? But they wouldn't be able to Wolfspite my Guild Demon because then I would then they wouldn't recycle. So Kong's going to come down. Just going to play this Crystal Golem. I mean, I could, it wouldn't be crazy. I could do something to try and get that. Just in case I draw a Final Task, I won't crack it right away. It wouldn't be crazy for me to play Angel of Mercy here. It would just, but the only thing it's bringing back is another Angel of Mercy, so I don't really find that to be very exciting. And it's weak to Amnesia again, so I'm not going to make that play. I am going to go ahead and attack with this Crystal Golem. See what happens here. This is weak to Dracospire, but I'm making this play in case after this gets blocked, crack it to draw 2 and I get a Final Task. I could Final Task the Crystal Golem back into play and attack with it again. And this can't block. So that's why I'm doing this play. Most people aren't running Spike Trap. I've seen Spike Trap in I mean, Epic Agenda might be that one person that runs it. I remember there's this one person that plays Spike Trap a lot, and I don't see it very often elsewhere. It looks like Spike Trap's not in hand right now, so that's just going to go ahead and happen. Fortunately, I don't have another evil card to activate that. Otherwise, that would 100% be the correct play. I'm going to go ahead and activate Priestess Evangeline. We don't have any event recursion, so I'm just going to banish my events. Army of the Apocalypse. Well, that sounds good. I'm just going to do it now. There we go. Let's draw 2 cards. And then I'll pass the turn. Speaking about extreme value for 1 gold, just go ahead and play our 1 gold. Gudgeon, Angel of Mercy. Alright, that has 5 health left. Guess we can't do anything about it. So I'm just going to go ahead and pass and discard one of my Noble Unicorns here. Now this Angel of Mercy in my hand can actually get another target back. Usually you don't want to reanimate. Oh yeah, that's a thing. Could I go... I could Angel of Mercy Brave Squire it, and then that's 9, but it could get bounced. I'm just going to Brave Squire nothing. Block. And then I can Drain Essence that if I want. And it still got cleared, but the nice thing about this deck, right, is the reason I run Crystal Golem. I play Army of the Apocalypse, and I got to draw 2, and then I got Hurricaned. So if that Hurricane didn't happen, I would just win. The Hurricane happened, so I didn't win, but I still drew 2 cards. Because I spent my gold playing a draw 2 that forced my opponent to play a card from their hand for a gold, just to try and prevent the rest of my card from happening. I mean, if I had known that Hurricane was there, I could have Brave Squired something important. Interesting play here. Gonna reveal Helion and Wave of Transformation. So we're just gonna take it and then probably just gonna pass to me after that. So there's a good chance I'll just start my turn, Necromancer Lord back like Angel of Death or something. Maybe I should, yeah. I still think this is good. I'm kind of tempted to just... I mean, I have some safety nets. I'm just going to run out this Angel of Mercy and see what happens. Like, worst case scenario, I just clear the board on my turn. So it's really hard to punch this effectively. Even though Epic Agenda's gold is still up. But like, Helion targeting itself, attacking, I'd block and then Brave Squire it and just take it out for free. Sure. Now, honestly, this game might go to time. Just looking at the way things are right now. Alright. We are going to go ahead and start, but we're going to leave that human token. Probably just going to pass, honestly. Don't really have a good play to make here. Yeah, a lot of the time when I'm thinking about punishes, I don't think about 2-card combos. Alright, so we're just going to take this 4 here, and then I could just wither it. I mean, I don't need anything else here, so I'm just going to wither it, and then that'll recycle, and then this 13 will come in. I'll block with human token, and if not, I can do something else. I can, if this gets removed, like I'm kind of expecting, yeah, something like that. I can Noble Unicorn Brave Squire, or I can Brave Squire again and then Drain Essence. Kind of like Noble Unicorn Brave Squire. This is gonna get Helion, I'm just realizing right now. Ugh, it's not good. Alright, I have to pass. If I Brave Scar this, then Helion comes into play, steals this, activates Force Mage Friend to steal my human token. Oh man, that's not good. Yeah, I have to just pass. Oh well. It's probably gonna get removed. I wasn't even thinking about the interaction between. Alright, that's good then. It's fine. I'm kind of burning these Brave Squires inefficiently, so that's not great, but I think we're in a good spot. I mean, I wouldn't say that we're in a good spot, but this is a totally winnable game. The one thing that this deck does extremely well is it is probably the most comebackiest deck that I have. It's like you're so far behind, and then all of a sudden you do 80 things, and your opponent can't answer it, and you win. This can't attack because it's blocking. So once it blocks, it flips, it can't attack. Which is why I blocked first before playing the Brave Squire. I was just playing around exactly this scenario. Yep, and then we get it back. Value Town. I'm going to go ahead and play this Avenging Angel just because it draws me a card, and then I'll pass probably. I mean, like, attacking with this is weak against Ice Drake pretty hard. And we've seen Ice Drake, so I will just pass after playing it. Surprise attack out Kong. Not going to attack. Let's see, it's not looking good. Let's see, that shoots me for 2. That should shoot me for 2 and Noble Unicorn for 2. That's probably the correct play in my opinion. Oh, okay. What is the play here? I don't really want to take 13. I think that's a bad move. Probably just gonna have to sacrifice my Noble Unicorn. Like, I could Crystal Golem, block 1, draw 2, and try and find another way to block. But it just really it gives my opponent a lot of initiative. So it's a very risky play. It's also, I'm really trying to find an answer to this, so it's not ideal. But I think we're just gonna have to make it. I'm gonna go ahead and pass. Try and block with this Crystal Golem and break to draw 2. But I get blown out by Hurricane pretty hard. I get blown out by, yeah, alright, so it looks like we're good on that. Go ahead and draw 2. We get blown out by Rage extremely hard. So I'm probably just going to Amnesia here to recycle, just so I can try and find a Guilt Demon or Plentiful Dead, or Brave Squire. Alright, Juggernaut. Not a big deal. I can just take 9. Not going to block that for sure. This Noble Unicorn is somewhat important, though. I would prefer for it not to die. Alright, let's see if we can find something. I think it would have been better to attack with Kong first, but it's just me. Alright, we do have to block with this Noble Unicorn. We have no option. So if Epic Agenda had like a Vanishing Ray, or if Epic Agenda had a read that I don't have a play, then and it could remove this, then Epic Agenda would win here. It also seemed like Epic Agenda is thinking about something, or maybe just didn't realize that I played a recycle before blocks and passed. Because I didn't really do anything. I mean, yeah. It also kind of depends, like, on what your philosophy is. Do you, if you think you can just immediately win, do you go for the immediate win, or is it like, I'm gonna play in a way that I think will make me win the longest in the long game? Like, do you win immediately if you think you can, or do you play it safe? I think that is, so we're just gonna go ahead and second wind immediately. Get rid of the Noble Unicorn. In case we draw Army of the Apocalypse here. Alright, it's gonna be leave Crystal Golem. So we have Avenging Angel in hand. I'm gonna go ahead and gain 10, so basically this is an over. See if we can find an Angel of Death. I guess it's gonna be this. Yeah, alright. Just as much of a threat, but... then I have to wither, probably have to wither the... I mean, I guess I'm planning on drawing into Martial. Wait, no, I already played Martial Law, so I can't get that. I don't know if I have a real plan on this one. What am I going to wither here? I have to wither either the Juggernaut or that. I guess it's going to be Force Mage Apprentice. That stops one of my blocks. So I'm going to go ahead and wither that immediately, then pass. Yeah, actually, this can remove both, so I should have gotten rid of the Juggernaut. I've been making a lot of mistakes this game. The thing is, too, just gaining that much health, it just like, this deck can really just last. This deck can survive out of nowhere. Yeah, I think that wither was a mistake. I should have withered the Juggernaut. Oh well. We're gonna go ahead and pass. We're gonna use this Crystal Golem to block. Probably try and block a Kong with it. I might be forced to Amnesia to recycle, try and find, well, I suppose if an attack just happens here, I can play a Royal Escort and I'll be very happy. Nope. Alright, we're gonna take that 9 for sure. This is going to be used to block a Kong and then draw 2 cards. Living on the edge here. We're just gonna take, tank a bunch of damage, gain a bunch of health over and over again. Alright, pass the blockers, block with this, draw 2, pass. It's probably gonna be Urgent Messengers for that in case they have another knight. And it draws me 2 as well. Yeah. Guess I'll look here first to have plenty of ways to draw cards in well. I'll hold off on it. It might be really relevant. Oh, it looks like I'm not dying. Unless there's a rage here, in which case I'm dead. We did see a rage. The thing is, there was a rage right here. And there's definitely 3 Kongs at least, so it's probably, I mean, maybe there's only 1 Fires of Rebellion. Well, I'm not dead. If I block with this human token, I go down to 1. 1 is alive. Oh man. It's not looking great though. Breakthrough indeed. Alright, I'm at 1. I died a Force Mage Apprentice or like any 0-cost card. Oh yeah, that's game. Good game, Epic Agenda. I mean, I'll dig. I could have a another second wind or something. Don't think I'm gonna find it. Yeah, that's game. Alright. Good games. Overall, though, I do think I like this deck. I think I need a little bit more experience playing with it. Kind of reminds me of like the traditional Kark decks, except that you're just trying to assemble something. It's not really about this traditional Kark format And I think it does need another 2 board wipes in it. I'm only running 4 right now. I think it should go up to 6 at least. Yeah, no. Honestly, this deck is sweet. I mean, I'll add it to my document here. This deck is one that I'm excited about. I'm not sure which version of the Ragnarok I'm going to put up there because there's so many different ones, but I think this one is definitely its own thing. So we are going to go ahead and stick that one in there. Usually once I feel like, at a certain point, I feel like I needs 3 more second winds. It only has 2 right now. It's only running 2. That's just because the Priestess of Angelines are usually going to be better than second wind in this deck. I mean, we're running second wind for the sustain for sure, but it also, I'm not sure. Okay. All right, I'll put it in the document later. I'm not sure what the issue is here right now. Thank you. All right, but that's going to be it for the stream today. I'll be back on Monday, and I'll be playing some more Constructed. So in the meantime, have some good games, and I'll see you next time.